You ever see something so bizarre that everyone in the room just kind of stops and stares at you? Well, imagine doing that, but instead of a room, it's an NFL Combine press conference or a one-on-one with the GM, or better yet, a nationally televised interview right before the biggest job interview of your life. Welcome to the world of pre-draft word vomit, where prospects, for some reason, forget that teams are about to invest millions of dollars in them and decide that now's the best time to get real weird. We're talking about bold predictions, cosmic conspiracies, spiritual awakenings, and moments that made scouts double-check if they were being pranked. Today, let us take a look back and dive into the 10 craziest things an NFL prospect has said before the draft. Craig Hayward. The NFL draft has a pretty well-defined structure. First round, second round, third round, you get it. You can't really go above the first round because, well, there's no round zero. You know, unless apparently you're Craig Ironhead Hayward, the bruising running back who came out of Pitt. Had a sense that he could make history, famously saying, "People say I'll be drafted in the first round, maybe even higher." Now, to be fair, Hayward was an absolute force of nature in college, a bruising back with a personality as large as his frame. But that quote still kind of reads like he misunderstood how drafts work altogether. I mean, what exactly is higher than first round? I guess the world will never know. While he would have to settle for normal first-round pick status, Hayward did have the good fortune of being 24th overall by the New Orleans Saints, where he started a long, prosperous career toggling between halfback and fullback for 11 years. Still, maybe even higher remains one of the most hilarious lines ever uttered by a draft prospect. Tyler Owens. I don't think there's like other planets. 7 simple words that strung together in a particular order that outright stunned the nation. These were uttered by Texas Tech safety Tyler Owens at the 2024 NFL Combine, where he apparently felt compelled to express his disbelief in the existence of, well, you know, space and other planets. Now, this wasn't like whispered in a dorm room late at night during a party after drinking a bunch. No, this wasn't even tweeted and deleted. This was said proudly to a crowd of credentialed media members at the 2024 NFL Combine. Owens, apparently determined to undermine the value of a Texas Tech degree, made himself the NFL's resident no-space theorist. The young man looked the cosmos dead in the face and said, "Nah," and you could almost hear America sigh in unison. He would later clarify, essentially explaining that he was a fundamentalist who took the Bible word for word, and that God created the heavens and earth, just not Jupiter and Saturn. Owens eventually signed as an undrafted free agent with the Washington Commanders and made a couple of appearances during his rookie year, but has since largely faded into the background. Audric Estime. There's confidence, and then there's Audric Estime, standing at the NFL Combine, grabbing the mic, and launching into Sweet Caroline like he was the headliner at a Tuesday night karaoke bar. No, this was not a prank, and no, he was not dared. This was Estime, completely unprovoked, deciding that the best way to showcase his NFL readiness wasn't cocking gap assignments or pass protection. No, it was channeling Neil Diamond. Midway through that ba-ba-ba, you could just feel half the scouts wishing that they never even broached the topic. But hey, credit to Estime, not just for his courage, you know, if you want to call it that, but also for landing on the one song that would get the rest of the room to chime in and help. I mean, come on, who doesn't like singing along to Sweet Caroline? Trey Adams. The NFL draft process has gained a bit of a reputation over the years for, at times, having scouts and execs ask prospects inappropriate questions. Sometimes, guys are put in unwinnable situations a la Des Bryant. But this, my friends, was not one of those times. Of all the questions asked at the NFL Combine over the years, none is more harmless than, what's one thing you would change about yourself? I mean, that's about as standard as it gets. It's a layup. Say something about being a better leader, talk about film study, mention punctuality. Just like, I don't know, anything other than mentioning genitalia. Trey Adams, however, zigged when 99 out of 100 humans would have zagged. A bigger dick, he said with a shrug, and just like that, stone-faced, completely unaware or perhaps fully aware of how absolutely unhinged that sounds when you're trying to land a job in the most conservative league on the planet. And the NFL did not forget. He went undrafted and bounced around practice squads for a few years. As it turns out, teams want players to protect their quarterback, not shock their HR department. departments. Adam Shaheen. When you come from Division II Ashland University and show up to the NFL Combine weighing 278 pounds, you're gonna get some questions. How'd you bulk up like that? A reporter asked. Fair question. Some guys mentioned, strength coaches or nutrition plans, cutting-edge science. No, not Adam Shaheen. A lot of Chipotle burritos, he said. Not once, but twice. That's right, he reiterated it like it was a citation on a research paper. In all honesty, it was a lot of burritos. That is the moment the world met Adam Shaheen. Tight end, second-round pick, and unofficial spokesman for carnitas and caloric surpluses. He became the Chipotle prospect. Plastered across media outlets across the internet, ESPN, and even the Patriots website. Now, if this was a strategic deflection from, shall we say, suspect methods of bulking up, then we tip our cap to Shaheen for that tactful move. However, if he was trying to show his potential employers that he was serious about the training and his future job, well, you gotta think that he could have come up with a better response than just ate a lot of burritos. But hey, I suppose it didn't scare off scouts too much, as the 6'7" tight end was taken in the second round by the Chicago Bears and played 6 years in the league. Travis Hunter. There's making your case, and then there's Travis Hunter, 2025 Heisman winner, stepping to the mic and basically threatening retirement unless the NFL let him do what no player has done in decades and play both sides of the ball on every down. It seems clear as day that Hunter has taken a page out of Deion's brash prime playbook with this one by daring all 32 teams to try him. Don't get us wrong. At the college level, Hunter was a unicorn. And sure, he'll let the scouts talk about how he has the hips of a shutdown corner and the instincts of a wide receiver one. But, hey, this is the NFL, and the notion that he's going to be a two-way player is insane. Almost as insane as threatening retirement before your career even starts. Deshaun Kaiser. Some guys show up to the NFL draft process hoping to be noticed. Deshaun Kaiser showed up in 2017 acting like he'd already won 5 Super Bowls and was baptized by Vince Lombardi. Or at least, that's what he wanted teams to believe. He compared himself to Tom Brady and Cam Newton at the same time. Said he threw out his notes in team meetings like he was running a TED Talk. I could be the greatest quarterback to ever play, he said. I could be your savior. Now, scouts are used to overconfident prospects, but this was a statement of a different degree that had to raise eyebrows, no doubt. And the claim, well, it looks all the more ridiculous now looking back at it. Brian Bosworth. I suppose NFL teams should have known what they were signing up for after watching his antics in college. But man, how about Brian Bosworth causing chaos leading up to the draft by making outlandish comments in the media? In a 1986 Sports Illustrated interview, the man formerly known as the Boz proudly admitted to sabotaging cars on the assembly line at a GM plant in Oklahoma City during a summer job, or at least so he claims. The former OU standout highlighted all sorts of shenanigans, ranging from loose bolts to rattling panels to hidden messages left like Easter eggs inside malfunctioning Chevrolets. If you own a celebrity or century made in 1985 in Oklahoma City, he said, "That car is effed if I had anything to do with it." Yeah, that's a direct quote. And yes, he said it was the kind of smug satisfaction usually reserved for Bond villains and high school bullies. Classic Bosworth. Loud, reckless, and a wild footnote in NFL history. Kenny Pickett. Of all the red flags a quarterback can have during the draft process, off-field issues, inconsistent tape, questionable mechanics, few carry the strange staying power of small hands. Yep, that was the cross that Kenny Pickett had to bear when he found himself in the 2022 NFL Combine and his hands measured just over 8.5 inches, the smallest among starting caliber QBs in recent memory. And that immediately was a major talking point on social media. Jokes flew wild, and of course, the memes followed. And instead of ducking the conversation, Pickett walked right into the store, telling reporters that he was actively doing exercises to increase his hand size. Yes, hand stretching exercises. Young Kenny was doing yoga for his fingers. And you know what? To his credit, it was equal parts hilarious and admirable. I mean, he did a good job of taking the criticism in stride. And while he did end up going in the first round, in part due to a lack of depth at the position in the draft that year, it does look like scouts were right to be concerned about the size of Mr. Mr. Pickett's mitts, as his foray into the NFL has been, shall we say, a struggle thus far. His completion percentage has hovered in the low 60%, as he's thrown just one more touchdown than interception, and he's lost 7 fumbles in the process. You almost have to wonder if he had just stretched those hands a little bit more, if all this could have been avoided. Jameis Winston. Some quarterbacks try to temper expectations during draft season, or at least feign modesty to show their potential employers that they have the maturity and disposition to be the face of the franchise. Jameis Winston, on the other hand, well, he tried to elevate them into the cloud, and clearly had not even heard of humility at that point in his life. To set the scene for you, 2015, the media couldn't get enough of the Winston versus Mariota debate. 2 decorated college QBs, Winston out of Florida State and Mariota out of Oregon. Both had all the makings of great pros, at least in the eyes of scouts at the time. But who was the right choice to go at number 1 in the draft? I mean, looking back at it, neither of them. But that's neither here nor there. At the time, Winston wasn't having any of the debate, basically explaining that he didn't see Marcus Mariota as his comparison point. Rather, he saw the likes of 2 other quarterbacks whose stratospheres he's not yet come close to reaching. This is not no competition between me and Mariota, because one thing about me, I plan on winning the Super Bowls in the next year. So it's gonna be Jameis versus Peyton Manning and Jameis versus Tom Brady. I want to be viewed like that. After all this combine stuff, you're not going to hear no more about Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota, but I want my name to stay relevant for the next 15 to 20 years of my career. Well, unfortunately for Winston and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who ultimately pulled the trigger on him with the first overall pick in the draft, the NFL career that followed was, well, less dynasty and more roller coaster, highlighted by the now infamous 30 touchdown, 30 interception season. Jameis has proven to be unique in his ability to truly light up the scoreboard for both teams. And while he may not have developed into the next Manning or Brady, he at least has provided us with some entertaining moments over the years, unlike Mariota. But hey, what do you think is the craziest thing you've seen an NFL prospect say ahead of the draft? What do you think we got right here? What do you think we got wrong? Was there anything notable that we may have missed? Let us know in the comment section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, then hey, clicking the like button helps us out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then hey, subscribing is a great idea, because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.